Hi, everybody. Brian, are you there? Hi.
I am here.
Good.
I'm sure.
Yay. And it feels like your internet's stable. How you doing over there?
Yeah, it is what it is. Surviving.
Yeah, and I can see your little mushroom house behind you.
Coming and going,
That's maybe it needed a Christmas timeout.
It's very possible.
It maybe. Who knows?
You never know. You never know.
So hopefully this will go off without a hitch tonight.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So far, so okay. So.
Yeah. So far, so good. So we kind of talked a little bit earlier today. Like, what are we going to do? Like post holidays, what are we going to talk about? Right.
Yep. So we're gonna change gears a little bit.
We should probably just tell everybody why we're just like a little bit testy at the moment. Because Brian, I sent him a link. Let's just like clear the air. Let's just do it. So I sent him a link at 7:00, and I don't know what was going on, but a moment before 7:30, we finally connected. And I don't know if maybe it was just like this interim link that, because it was the same link, Brian. I don't know. I don't know if it was like a reframe thing. I don't know. But we were sitting looking at a camera by ourselves for about 15 minutes. So here we are. So we're kind of just getting over it. So hi.
Working through it. Yes. Yes.
We'll just clear that air. So hi from iEvolveTV. We're back. And we're back.
So tonight we're going to be changing gears a little bit. Basically, we're going to be talking about probably lots of different things, but it's all going to stem into one major concept. And really what I'm going to be talking about for the most part is my own experience with this type of healing, so to speak. So we're going to talk about this element called water. Water is very, very magical on so many levels that we don't even understand, even though we've been told this in so many different ways. Water is the liquid of life, the essence of life. All kinds of different aspects of this thing. Water, believe it or not, is very easily programmed. And that in itself is very helpful to us, being that our body is basically made up of majority of water. So the whole idea with working with water, I mean, in my own personal experience, is basically has been reprogramming my own body into being more healthy, being more conscious, all these different things that we can actually add to our actual reality. And it's through basically programming water. It's a very unique way of doing it. Not many people talk about it. I mean, I'm sure people have heard about, crystal water, where we program water with crystals to have this certain energetic statement. But we can do that with anything. It goes with emotions. It goes with just us speaking. We can actually.
The one time I don't have my water that I'm drinking with has crystals in it.
Right. There's been many experiments with water and showing how just the different energies that are put into it, how it actually changes the whole crystalline form of how it actually, how the cells actually reproduce and actually form in themselves. It's all about energy and being able to utilize and use your intention and your consciousness. There's actually been places and people starting to look into even more and believe that water itself is consciousness, because water is everywhere. I mean, there's no part anywhere on Earth there isn't water. Let alone any other planet. There's water everywhere. I mean, even the solid rocks is still holding water. Not only that, but water comes in so many different forms. It's in the air that we breathe. It's everywhere. And so just to think about how we are programming the water around us says a lot, because it really helps show what kind of reality we're trying to actually create for ourselves.
Right.
And when we start using our intention to actually program the water around us, it really shifts a lot of aspects of our lives. In fact, we have a couple videos, but we're probably only going to show one tonight, just basically touching on all these little aspects. And if you'd like to start that now, we can. And hopefully I'll bring up some more questions and
and there's
get us going with it.
There's one that's kind of nice that we could just share at the end, actually, that can just tie everything together. And there's actually a slideshow too that I can share just kind of alongside our talk, that can kind of just illustrate things, so we can kind of kill a couple of birds at the same stone, or with you know what I mean.
Exactly.
That. So, all right, I will do that. Let me find the right screen here, but that would be good to find the right screen.
Intention is a universal creative force that generates an energetic imprint that expresses from consciousness. Intention is defined as a determination or will to create reality, and it involves coherence of the heart and mind, which harmonizes the energetic activity of the body to produce desired outcomes on the spiritual, energetic, and material levels of the universe. From a scientific perspective, intention creates new synaptic connections and neural circuits in the brain via neuroplasticity, which then emits frequencies based on electrical conductivity of action. The frequency signature that is generated with intention interacts with the quantum energy field via interconnected quantum holographic networks of the mind and universe to magnetically gravitate matching frequencies across space-time. The practice of intention entangles information at the quantum level, meaning that two particles across space-time are linked energetically, and the action of one particle instantaneously influences the other particle non-locally. Furthermore, if the intention is charged with emotion, the intention powerfully interacts with the quantum field, as the heart produces an electromagnetic energy field that is 60 times more powerful than that of the brain. Water crystallization has been used as an experimental system to observe the power of intention and its effects on the physical reality. Water is a ubiquitous system in nature that forms tetrahedral geometry within the intermolecular bonding pattern of its liquid crystal lattice. Upon altering physical parameters, such as temperature or pressure, the water molecules undergo phase transitions from liquid to solid or crystalline states, in which rearrangements of the electrostatic interactions of the water molecules create changes in the crystal lattice geometry. The alternative hydrogen bonding pattern present in the ice crystal lattice generates six-fold symmetry, which is observed as a hexagonal snowflake. This phase transition from tetrahedral to hexagonal geometry of the water crystal lattice is a prime example of the dynamic, energetic geometry that philosophers and spiritual scientists state is the fundamental underlying nature of reality. Previous studies have shown that intention acts as an intelligent energy or physical force that structures water molecules. So the energetic force of intention can be observed in real time using the mechanism of phase transitions between water bonding geometry during the nucleation phase of the crystallization reaction. Project Noosphere intends to perform the first real-time intention crystallization experiment to directly observe with our own eyes the power of intention.
That's a little bit to chew, isn't it?
Okay. So what that was talking, I mean, it talked about a lot of different things. But really the main, besides intention, being able to control our reality on so many different levels. What I was really hoping to see out of that was showing the sacred geometry that actually shows up in water molecules when positive reinforcement is put out there. There's been a lot of experience with water on doing all kinds of different.
I can bring those up, Brian. Keep going. I'll bring those up.
Okay. So there's been experiments on people more or less yelling at a thing of water, talking nice to a thing of water, and not doing anything in a thing of water, and actually doing tests to see the differences in the actual amount. And the ones that were used, more or less, their structure just totally depleted and just fall apart. Whereas the ones that are talked nice to and talked up to, they have perfect sacred geometry type cellular structures to them. And then they go further to doing experiments with water and freezing it and showing the crystalline geometry that comes to it, or depending on. It goes to a lot of different. There's actually been experiments with polluted water and actually making it so it is actually drinkable just by talking nice to it over a period of time. It's all about that there's a consciousness in the water, which literally could be our part of our own consciousness, the fuel of our consciousness in some aspect. So working with water is more or less working with another consciousness to actually help program our consciousness in a way we want to be and actually see our reality. And there's all kinds of different ways you can do that. You can, just like the moon water or the crystal water, it could be as easy as taking a piece of tape and writing a word on it and putting a glass of water and just letting it sit there. And that in itself will actually change the molecular structure of that water because it takes on that energy. It is that adaptable.
Brian,
so
do you
when
want
we
me
actually work with water, we can actually.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to just kind of breeze through these?
Go ahead.
It's a beginning of a slideshow that we kind of found today, or I did find, but yeah. It kind of just is the beginning. So this shows somebody introduced a water molecule to wisdom. And there's a little bit of a kind of a synopsis on the side. So I don't want to go too fast for you. So just kind of slow me down if I go too fast, okay?
Well, basically, as far as those go, just so they can see the different structures. Yep. Are there any of the negative energy structures in there?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, just kind of go through them, and they can pay attention.
Yeah, and I can provide this link too.
Yep. So that has a lot to do with, it goes back to, if water's literally all around us, it adds to, you when you're around a certain type of people, you're bringing that type of energy around. It's all coming through that water, those water molecules. Another thing that kind of came up to me was, look what happened during our lockdown earlier this. I mean, it didn't take long for the water and the planet to just reprogram itself to what it's supposed to be at, without all our negative energies and all our negative things that we're putting into the planet, for things to all of a sudden just start coming back that we didn't think ever were going to come back. And that is the magic of water. That's the magic of what's going on with the ability of this unknown consciousness, so to speak. And it's one that we can help us with our ascension and with our moving through our emotions and all these other things that are blocked with us. I mean, that's part of the reason why a masseuse or an energy healer, after you get done with it, they tell you should drink lots of water because you need to flush all that stuff that we broke up. Once again, water's flushing all this stuff out, you know.
And
the more that
replacing it. Yeah.
you don't drink water, the more that we can actually flush all the toxins that we're constantly putting in our body because of us understanding the things that we're actually putting in our body, you know, because there's so many different things that we don't understand that are just natural for us, we think, to be putting in our body that are really hurting us. And so the more that we're able to connect with water and actually bless our water, the more we're actually blessing ourselves and actually raising our vibrations. And that's really what we want to be doing.
Mm-hmm. So the one that they found when I read the studies and listened to quite a few of the like presentations on YouTube, the one that was the most powerful was love and gratitude. That one was the most powerful. So it's the last one on the slideshow.
Well, think about it. I mean, love is, at least in my understanding, love is the divine. I mean, that is divine right there. It's pure love. So yeah, of course, that's going to be ingratitude. I mean, so yeah, that is going to be the strongest, you know, sacred geometric, you know, shape that's going to come through.
Yeah. And Muji Baba says that if you have no other prayer, say thank you.
Gratitude is one of the most powerful things that we can have.
Mm-hmm.
So is there any questions with any of this? Because there's lots of different ways we can go with water, and working with healing ourselves. I mean, there's many records of, you know, using water in many different rituals and all these other things for purification, for cleansing, you know, and that's really what it's all about, is helping us reprogram ourselves to be on a more lighter path.
I think those are amazing. Did you see? I should back up because I have to change my screen so I can't see you sometimes when I'm doing this on the other screen. But I don't know what kind of heavy metal music they were listening to, but that must not be the same kind I listen to. But anyway, I digress.
I don't know. I kind of think they were. It might not be on the slide, but on one of the videos, they were actually playing the music that the cells were made to, and it was pretty much thrash metal.
Oh, thrash metal, yeah. Okay, so I don't listen to that kind of heavy metal, but okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a little bit different. That'd be a little, well, it's angry, right? So
yeah, definitely very angry.
Yeah, well, that would be the difference.
Well,
yeah. But there, you know, there is some good intention with, like, you know, when you do the whole like stiffen yourself up with intention and then relax, like there is some intention with that too. So, but anyway, so there's some therapeutic benefit to music as well, but you wouldn't necessarily want it in your water.
Well, but depending on the music, I mean, because once again, not on those slides, but there's actually pictures of them playing Mozart to it and Bach and, you know, all these different things, and it's totally different than what you feel. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I was just talking.
Okay.
But I do remember the slides from before. Yeah. There was a couple of them, and there were in a couple of videos. But yeah, they actually played different types of music, and you could see the different, you know, different patterns and stuff. And it was definitely more of the Renaissance type music, was definitely more into the sacred geometry type form than obviously the heavy metal would be.
Well, and it's more symmetrical too. You know, when people go and learn that stuff in take classes, it's more based in music theory. You know, so yeah, it makes more sense, or it makes sense, I guess. But look at this one. I don't know if you can see your screen. How you could almost see a man in that picture. That freaks me out.
And what does it say? You make
You
me
make
sick,
me
I will
sick.
kill you.
Yeah, isn't
That's
that
like
ugly?
pure hate right there.
I know it. This one too, you fool. Just that, like, oh, you fool. I mean, you might say it in jest, but even just that changes
Yeah, it's
molecular
not positive
structure.
energy.
Yeah.
You know? It's not super negative energy, but it's definitely not a positive one.
No. Yeah, so I'm just kind of going back through these just a little bit to kind of, they're just so interesting. Elephant, pictures shown to water. Oh, because the elephant is really positive. Let's see, what does it say?
I can't read it.
Oh, is it too small? They showed pictures of elephants to the water. Well, okay. Well, water has consciousness. It's amazing what you can see in the trunk of an elephant in the center of the crystal. Oh, yeah, there is. Look at that. There's a trunk of an elephant.
Oh.
If you can see that on your screen.
Oh, no.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll be darned. Yeah, this one is water from around the world. So Niagara Falls. Yeah, that's just wild, huh? Yeah. So just even for like places where people go and pray, they did from the like Mount Shasta.
Yep.
Really cool. Really cool. So yeah. Really interesting stuff. Maybe people are just shocked and amazed by our presentation here, Brian.
Maybe.
You think? Is that what's going on?
That's a good question. So I do highly recommend start talking to your water. Start talking nice to your water. Start putting in your dreams in your water. All these things will help make them come to fruition, and also help heal yourself. You can, if you have these different aspects that you're fighting with yourself, that you're not really sure how to deal with, pray over your water about it. Help me release this, help me see clarity in this, all these different things, and your water will more or less realign your basically all the water in your body to that program. That is one of the key things that water does, is once it gets set to a program, connects with other water, that other water turns to that program.
Like tuning forks.
So
if you have a tuning fork and you take another tuning fork that you haven't hit and you bring it next to it, they both vibrate together. It's the same thing.
Exactly. Only with water being the fluidity of it, if you take and you have a glass of water, you pray over it, and then you put more fresh, basically fresh filtered water that doesn't have any chemicals or anything in it. Personally, I use reverse osmosis water because it doesn't have any chemicals in it. And then basically add that to it. That new water will contain that same energy from the original prayer water. And so you can continue on with that. And that's just in that whole thing, is as you're drinking it, that's also changing all that water chemistry in you to resonate with that.
Yeah. So last night I did a podcast with Jess, and this came up too, but a little bit differently. But it also came up, and it's just funny how like the collective consciousness, like I'm connected to you, so you somehow got the signal. I know that you didn't watch last night because you were busy today. I didn't mention it to you. You said, "Hey, I think we should talk about the benefits of water and how it affects people on a molecular level." And I didn't say anything to you about it, And I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny that you should bring that up. So it was actually
how things work.
Yeah. And one of the things that we said last night, and we just brushed past it, was that there's a reason why we've been praying over our food forever. And, you know, it didn't necessarily matter what denomination or religion or spirituality you were. You just put your intentions into your food because it was the right thing to do. That's why you did it. And and it's the same thing. And then I think you and I were talking earlier today. We're like, I swear that whole like ratio of water that we have in our cells, or we're we're like 60% water. It used to be we were like 90%. Now we're suddenly we've seen all
right. And however that's changing, I kind of feel there's a science to that of changing for whatever reason. But yeah, I do think that's really interesting, because I remember learning when I was younger that we were like, I want to say more than 90% water.
Yeah,
and now
the
last thing I saw was 60%. Kind of weird.
Maybe that's a very, very low body fat or something. I don't know.
Something. So Dietrich is asking a question, and I'm looking for a little bit more clarification.
Are you seeing the chat? I'm not seeing the chat.
So I'm saying water. Are you talking about like if you have city water and you're boiling it to try to get rid of the chemicals? Is that what you're kind of asking? Because if so, I don't think you can boil water to get rid of like chlorine and
no heavy metals. No,
they put in city water. Yeah. So I don't think boiling water is going to do anything as far as getting you better energy out of it. Are you talking now? Are you seeing the chat, Brian? I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing the chat. I'm not seeing it. I don't know. So yeah, as far as city water goes, I try to stay away from it as much as possible, just because of all the stuff they put into it, and really even well water these days. I mean, that even has chlorine in it because of how much that all the chemicals that we've been putting into everything. So I personally feel some of the best is going to be reverse osmosis water, which is unfortunate because it doesn't really have much of a taste. But once again, if you're putting that energy into it, you can actually put that energy in to make it taste better, add flavors to it, all that different things just by intention too. So there's levels of that you can work with. I've done a little bit of research on this last week. I don't know why it just kind of fired me up this week. What's new? I don't know why. You always find something to fire you up. It just does, and groundwater is, you would think, oh, well, I have well water, but nothing's getting put in my water. I learned that depending on where you're at, you might have a reason to be more concerned, actually, because you have runoff from the fields in your area, and boy, what they put in those fields, let me tell you, we need to be concerned about our food sources. There's that, and you just don't know, and it's not even going through a treatment plan and getting tested all the time. So not that I don't. You can take a sample and you can get a kit. You can order kits and test it at your tap. You can do that, but no, boiling water is not going to take out any heavy metals. You're still drinking those. So you're still going to get you're going to get the fluoride. You're going to get, but there's some, I don't know. Is iron considered heavy metal? That's good for you, but yeah. Yeah. So yeah, continuing with Dietrich's question. Yes, reverse osmosis does take everything out, because basically what it does is it breaks it down to cell level and separates, then re-puts it back together. So you're getting pure water. As far as I don't think it's going to be taking out so much bad stuff, because you're still getting all the good stuff, because water is pure water. Let's see. I mean, 100%. Well, and if you have a balanced diet, it should be okay. Talking about the energy perspective of it, so that goes back to going in and recharging that water too, because it's now water and it's neutral as far as energy goes. So that's actually the best to be working with when we want to be charging our water, because we're not fighting any other energies that are already in it. I hope that makes sense. And then Terry also had a question about moon water different than osmosis water. Moon water is basically water that we put out and charge in the moon and charge it with those energies. And for the most part, I would say either use spring water or reverse osmosis water to do that, because those two are going to hold the most energetic property from that process. Okay, now what were you saying?
It's distilled. It means that like everything goes down to the bottom because it's just sitting there. That's distilled. It means that it just sits still. That's what distilled water is.
Well, it's evaporated water is what it is, and I don't know. I don't personally feel that distilled water has the same energetic.
No, it's
I feel it's gonna be you're starting on the negative,
right?
Polarity, I guess, is the best way to put it. I'm not saying that it's draining you or anything. But I don't think it's as refreshing, I guess, so to speak.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not gonna. It's just distilled water. That's all. That's all.
Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna change our picture here. Love for humanity. That one's nice. I can't see the chat. I don't know why I can't see it. Oh well. Are you getting another question?
No, we're good.
Oh, we've got a few friends from Texas. I did say hello to them. And Marsha, she said Aurora's. Maybe she lives in Aurora. And a friend from Alabama. And explain moon water, leave moon water out during the full moon. You already just talked about that. And then somebody from Melbourne, Australia.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Hello. It must be like daytime there, early daytime. Yes? No?
In Texas?
No, in Melbourne.
Oh, I have no clue where Melbourne is.
Australia?
Oh, yeah, it'd probably be really early then.
Australia? I can't do an accent, so I just totally whacked that. It was really bad. Sorry. Oh goodness. So are you getting more over there?
No, I'm good on this side.
Okay.
I don't know. Do we have any other aspects that we want to dive in with water or intention?
Water and intention. Well, because it changes your. It's pretty straightforward. It changes you in a moment. It changes your cellular body. It's pretty amazing.
So I wouldn't say
more that I could show.
I can do it in a moment. In my own personal experience, it's more that it jumpstarts you on that path. You know, I mean, when you're programming and stuff, because once again, you have spirit, you still have things that you still have to work on and stuff. But when you're adding this whole intention water to it, it's like adding gas to the fire, basically. So we're already burning, but now we're going somewhere. We're actually going to get some things done, you know. And so it's not like we're skipping over things that we're needing to do. We're just saying, okay, no, we're ready. This is where I want to go. Let's start clearing the path to get there. And it's amazing how things just start falling out of the way and just starting going into place for you.
And now you know why it's important to use mantras, because you do them in repetition and repeatedly and throughout your day. And that's why, because it becomes a practice, and then you're always doing it and you're always resetting your cellular structure. Mantras are good. That's
Otherwise
why.
known as you're programming yourself to reprogram yourself.
Ding, ding, ding. So, like, I think the biggest point is that our ancestors, the indigenous people that we deprogrammed from, they knew stuff. They were super smart. We were always like, oh, we like evolved from that. No, we like de-evolved from that. Like they knew what we should have been continuing to do. And I don't know. I don't know why we doing that stuff. But
once again, it was part of us wanting to experience stuff. You know,
Yeah.
it's part of our curiosity. It's human nature. You know, unfortunately, it. You know, we did, but we're coming back. That's all that matters. And
coming back, me.
Spirit
Coming
knows that. That's why we're allowed to do these things. Is because it knows that we'll go out so far, and all of a sudden we're like, "Holy crap, what are we doing?" And start coming back to Spirit. You know, because that's home. And it's amazing all the different ways that we can come back to Spirit that are here to work with us. Because when we actually start looking at it, everything around us is here to help us and assist us in this whole process. And once we start awakening to that whole idea, things just start moving for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. I do have one example of that that we can play at the end. That's really awesome. But so whenever you feel like we want to wrap things up, I can play it.
Well, I mean, if we have any other questions,
I don't think
other
so.
than that, I think we kind of covered everything.
Yeah.
I mean, lightly, but decently.
Yeah.
At least to get the idea across.
Uh-huh.
Do you have that, the one with all the different, talking about the doctor actually doing these experiments and it shows all the different, I think it was the 8-minute one.
I can go find that one. I did not have that one blipped up, but I can go find it, Brian. If you have something that you can talk about for a hot minute, that would be great. Because I didn't have that one ready, but I can find that one.
Sure. See?
Sorry, it was 8 minutes long.
Okay.
We weren't going to play that one.
So what this video is about basically is just showing, because I know there's been multiple different scientists that have been doing all these different types of studies. When me and Shannon started talking about it, I was trying to make her understand that actually working with water and understanding that water is programmable and does all these different things for at least 6 years, if not more, and have been doing work with it. I just recently just came across it again. Oh yeah. And that's part of why it dinged with me, saying, well, maybe this is something we should talk about, because it is another way of us actually moving forward and moving through a lot of our emotional crap that we really don't know how to move through, let alone move forward and move, ascend more or less, opening up our gifts and seeing more of this stuff. This is all how we can actually move forward if we're not really sure what steps to take. It's just as easy as drinking some water that says that, I'm ready to release this, that, or the other thing. I'm ready to see this, that, or the other thing.
Mm-hmm. You said it was 8 minutes long?
I believe so, yeah.
It was the first one that I showed you, or that I shared with you?
No, it was like the second or third.
Okay.
Third, I think.
Okay.
Whenever you have
how to rewire your brain with neuroplasticity? That's probably not it. I watched some videos today, apparently.
I think it's water consciousness intent. Water consciousness intent.
Okay. Well, I'm looking in my history, Brian, and I'm not seeing that
you sent to me.
Oh, I could go on that.
I want to say it's like the second to last video you sent me.
Okay, I'll go in that. I'll go in that history. Well, maybe I didn't watch it. Maybe I just sent it to you. Oh,
I believe that.
I do too. I'm like, oh, this is good, and I just sent it to you.
Yep. You know how you are with that sometimes.
Sometimes.
You can only watch so much.
Oh, Ashley's here. Hi, Ashley.
Hello, Ashley.
So I just think that's incredibly interesting that that you can change. There was this one. Is it the segment that has the woman? The doctor actually took a sample of the woman's blood, and it showed all of the blood was like all weird and
I think so.
stuck together and stuff. And then, so I must have watched it. And then she gave her water that was prayed over or something, and like 12 minutes later they took it again. Is that the one? They took a sample. Are you still there?
I'm still there. Are you still there?
Yeah. I can't see the screen right now. They took a sample of the blood again, and it was like there was like oxygen in between the blood and all that kind of stuff. It was really cool.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's super cool. Yeah.
Did you find it?
Yes, I got it. It was on Facebook. That's why. The reason why is because it's on Facebook. It's not on YouTube, and I was looking on YouTube. Okay.
Oh.
That's why.
That's why.
Yes. So I got it though. Got it. But so I got her done. Just got to find the right screen here, and that's not the right one because they're all called YouTube or all called Facebook. Here we go. Now we're rocking and rolling.
The impressions made upon the water are recorded by swiftly freezing it in a cryogenic chamber. This is what water heated in a microwave oven looks like. This is the effect of a mobile telephone. Somebody said, "Thank you to this water." Excuse me. You disgust me. Let us see how this type of water affects human blood. The doctor is drawing blood from a patient's finger. Using a special microscope, we shall be able to see the condition of her body from this drop.
These are red blood cells, and they've lost their electrical charge, so they're all stuck together in a formation called a rouleau. Here's a huge symplast. Symplasts are associated with heart disease and arthritis and lung disease and many other conditions that could be coming in the future.
The doctor asks the patient to drink a small amount of structurized water. After 12 minutes, the doctor again draws blood from the patient and studies.
So you can see that the cells then become buoyant, they become slippery, and they have their electrical charge, so they repel each other. That allows them to carry oxygen, and it means that we're changing the pH of the blood to an aerobic environment rather than an anaerobic environment. I think that's utterly amazing that just drinking water could do that.
In 1995, Dr. Emoto Masaru was the first one to record musical impressions on water. In Dr. Emoto Masaru's laboratory, they allowed water to listen to music, after which they flash froze the water. And then, under the microscope, they could clearly see the crystal that the water had formed. Here's what the music of Bach looks like. Mozart. Beethoven. Heavy rock. Dr. Emoto has conducted another interesting experiment. He placed rice into 3 glass beakers and covered it with water. And then every day for a month, he said, "Thank you" to one beaker, "You're an idiot," to the second. And the third one, he completely ignored. After 1 month, the rice that had been thanked began to ferment, giving off a strong, pleasant aroma. The rice in the second beaker turned black, and the rice that was ignored began to rot. Dr. Emoto thinks that this experiment provides an important lesson, especially with regard to how we treat children. We should take care of them, give them attention, and converse with them. Indifference does the greatest harm. There have been many wars on religious ground in human history. Water reacted to 2 words that had religious content by forming beautiful crystals. With each religion, the Christian prayer, the Buddhistic prayer, the Muslim prayer. Dr. Emoto presumes that serious crimes are committed most of all in areas where people curse the most often. Idiot. Idiot. I hate you. Laboratory containers of water were inscribed with hieroglyphs denoting words and the names of well-known people. Love, hope, soul, Mother Teresa, Hitler. Emoto Masaru's numerous experiments aimed at finding the word that cleanses water most powerfully have shown that it is not just one word, but a combination of 2. Love and gratitude.
That's pretty awesome, isn't it? Are you back on, Brian?
Sure.
I muted your mic because there was some weird background. Sorry.
No. That's why.
You could talk now. It was
All
like
right.
there was like this echo thing that was going on. I don't know if you could hear it, but it's just that rice thing is amazing. I guess they've done that with plants too, you know.
Oh yeah, they've done it with all kinds of different things. So
I mean, it's a plant, I guess.
So Sarah had a question. I'm just not
Yeah.
really sure what she means by the 4 brains. So if she could give me a little better understanding of what she's meaning by the 4 brains, I can maybe help you with that. I have a couple ideas, but I'm not really sure where you're coming from with it.
She might be the 4 quantum dimensions of consciousness.
Could be. I mean, I'm not really sure.
There's more than that, but
Yeah, there's and lots of these things are called multiple different things too. So it,
yes,
it depends where you're getting your information from for me to try to connect with it, basically, because there's lots of different angles on all these different new understandings of our spiritual.
And I can send her to that I think it's called Quantum University. It's fabulous. They have a ton of resources. Oh, I didn't mean to play that. Didn't mean to play it. I just wanted to get the link so I could like shoot it over to her really, really quick if I wanted, needed to. But yeah, that's awesome. That explains a lot. Maybe she'll tell us. Did she tell us?
So she's talking about the reptilian consciousness and so on.
Oh.
So I guess the way to kind of look at that type of thing is more the evolution of our own spiritual growth and understanding. I mean, in my mind, the reptilian consciousness aspect of us is more of our basic 3D caveman attributes, so to speak. You know, there are survival attributes. They're this is what we need to survive, and that's all really are conscious about. We don't move on to the further levels of consciousness. I'm not really sure what they call the other aspects of the different brains, but in my mind, it's just all the growth of our actual spiritual consciousness is the growth of our brain. You know, from reptilian to the whatever to where we're going now, because our brains are actually expanding. Whether we actually are able to, I'm sure we're able to actually document this at this point in time. But our brains are actually being more functional on many different levels, because we are now able. I mean, we're at the point that people are actually working in multidimensionals, whether they're fully aware of it or not. Whereas in the past, we haven't been fully doing that, and not in the way that we're able to do it now. And it has to do with the growing of our conscious brain.
So how I understood it, she said 4 brains. I understood it as 3 brains. So that kind of threw me off. Maybe they've added one, I don't know. But the reptilian brain is really like, if you know, like your medulla oblongata, which is like basic, you know, the thing that's not protected if you were to get in a motorcycle accident. It's basically everything that keeps you breathing without having to think about it or blinking.
Basic functions. Basic functions.
You know, you continue to digest.
All your body doing this thing.
Yeah. Or to react or run. You know, startle. I mean, there's your amygdala and things like that, and it interacts with
kind of where your ego is.
Yeah. Well, kinda. I mean, they don't necessarily function independently of another. You know. And then you've got then your limbic brain or your limbic system, which is the mammalian brain, that is more of the feeling structure. So these are kind of mixed up in with the structures. And then your neocortex, which is your part of your prefrontal cortex, and what you actually see when you take off your skull. So I've understood it as like structures. So it kind of, you know, is like the very base. And so if you see like the actual structure or a model of the brain, it's like kind of building from the very base to the outside. So however you want to think of that, if that helps.
Right. Hopefully. But yeah, I think consciously and spiritually, that's how it is, you know, our growing from the primal of, you know, just functions. This is how we, you know, I need food, I need shelter, I need to reproduce. Basically, that's it. And then moving on to where, well, I mean, that was basic needs. That is kind of the reptilian brain. I mean, if you actually look at reptiles, they're not affectionate animals. I mean, they don't mate for life. Yeah. They don't, I mean, lots of different aspects that reptiles, they do what they need to do and they move on.
Yeah, I don't know how, I don't know they named it that. Like, I don't know, I don't know really the history behind why it is called that. I don't know.
Well, it's because, like I said, it's more of the primal. It's your primal brain. It's your primal instincts. Going back to reptiles, I used to be big into animals, used to own a pet store, I used to deal with all these different types of animals. Reptiles really want nothing to do with each other at all until it's time to do their thing, and then they're done, and they want nothing else to do with them. I mean, you can even see with how they deal with their young. For the most part, they lay eggs and they walk away, and the young are basically fending for themselves from day one. Whereas now you look at the mammal brains, where we start showing the affection and the nursing, and the babies actually have to be with the mother for so long before they can actually start doing. So it's a whole nother level of connection and spiritual growth. And I feel that's what's actually happening with our different levels of brain that are segregated as whatever else. Yeah. Hopefully that does answer your question, or at least what you're looking for, Sarah. If not, you can always harass me later. Present life trauma. So she asked that how is this something that ties in with our present life traumas?
So
we can go into each kind of energy. I do, because there are a lot of times you have to go down to the primal part of it, fully understand some of those traumas and where they're actually stemming from. So yeah, I do feel like we go through our levels of brain, through our different levels of consciousness when we're working with different traumas, especially ones that really hit deep.
Yeah.
So that we can't just shrug off.
Yeah, because we don't just store them in our brain. They're cellularly stored. We do things like that you do in your sessions, healing sessions. You do like sound therapy and music therapy and light therapy and aromatherapy that releases things like cellular trauma, because we store them in our cells. And not to mention, we have neurons in our stomach, in our heart,
body, that we actually hold all this extra crap that it might not be on our body, but it's still here, moving, over us, whether we want to recognize it or not. And it's all about being able to release that, and however we have to release that. And it going back to water. Water is one of the best way to cleanse all that. Once we're ready to get to that point.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, does that help? Hopefully. Do you have any other questions? Well, good. I'm glad I helped you. This will help someone tonight.
Oh, I'm sure more than just me.
Well, if we do have any other questions, feel free to shoot them to us. We'll continue on with them. If we might even bring them up next week if there's some good stuff.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. At this point, I've pretty much talked about all I had to talk about. Unless we have other questions out there that we can kind of shoot through really quick.
Yeah, I'm learning how to do that. There's a producer window that you can use in Facebook. I've never used it before. New thing.
Always something new.
I know. And I'm not sure I'm using it correctly, but I'm trying. I'm trying.
Practice makes perfect.
Yep, here we go. I did pose a question, because you can put questions in there, and I did it before we came on. And I said one of the questions I posed was what is something that you struggle with energetically / emotionally? Because sometimes it can be, you never know, and you get them all kind of entwined. That people feel like asking or talking about. If they feel like talking about it, we would be happy to discuss it. So exactly. I just threw that out there in the last moments that we're alive.
Okay.
But I don't see my own question pop up, which is weird. So I don't know if it actually I don't know if it actually goes. So that's interesting. Oh.
Well, we can, if we don't get anything, we can move on and just save it for next week.
Yeah. Or maybe I'm just not looking in the right spot.
Maybe. Be a whole new year.
Oh, yeah. Do you got your 2021 helmet and 5-point harness ready?
No.
And a parachute, maybe?
Nope.
Me either.
Free falling all the way.
Yeah, me too. I'll get one if I need one.
No,
I got
free falling.
My disco ball of white light. I got that. I'll be good. So, all right. Well, I can close this out. I have a little song about water that is the name of the indigenous culture just escapes me, but that's okay because they talk about it a lot in the song, and it's very lovely. And we'll just close out with that. We'll see you guys next week. Yeah.
Why wouldn't we? It's a new year.
And look at this. If you have a stable internet, I don't think you broke up. You didn't break up with me at all, Brian.
I don't know. It's kind of sketchy on this end. Saying.
Breaking my heart, man.
I say, I mean, speak the truth. I just got some sketchiness going on over here.
You do? Is it breaking up over there?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, not as bad as it has in the past, so.
Oh gosh, not anything close.
Well. Anyway.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
2 days.
Okay. All right, bud. Oh. I will need a second just to find it. I do have it pulled up though. So we'll only take a second. So it's super cool. And
it might play.
Oh yeah, it's right here. It's right here. I just have to bounce between screens is all, which is kind of a pain. And then I have to go back to it and actually press play. There we go.
Granddaughter, the water can hear you. The water has memory.
There you go.
Nibi, Nibi, Waba, Waba, Endayan, Endayan. Nibi, Waba, Endayan, Akimisi, Nibi, Waba, Heya, 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 Heya. Water is the lifeblood of our mother, the earth. Water is the lifeblood of our own body. To continue to pass on the knowledge that needs to be given unto the other generations. You are the keeper of the water. Heya, heya,
to make the change in this life condition that we're in, that great-grandchildren will stand up to this truth of what life is about, and to live it in such an honorable way, the way ancestors came to this earth. Nibi wabo endayan aking risky. Nibi wabo heya 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 heya. Each day when the sun rises, no matter how bad the day before might have been, there's a new chance for your hopes and dreams. And I say, Chiwikwach, thank you for singing the water song. Nibi wabo entayan aki miskwi. Nibi wabo heya 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 heya.
Algonquin. That's what I couldn't remember. That's what I couldn't remember. Isn't that nice?
Very much.
Yeah, super nice. So, that's a good place to stop, huh?
Yep.
Are you
I
crying?
think so. No. That I'm
Need a
not.
hug? I'm sending
No,
you a
I'm
hug.
good. Okay.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week. Good night from
Yep. Happy
iEvolve.
New Year, everyone.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
We'll talk to you next week.
Yes. Yes, you will. Bye.
See ya.